Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new 4th anniversary masked hero, and she has a lot of stuff going on for her, so let's be very quick. Dark, physical, sword, Scourge Wielder, Heart of a Hero, Spirit Master, and Protector of Peace. Her, along with Lumi and any new characters after her, are going to have an 8th ability release board. 6 and 7 take the purple crystals. The 8th board is now the Dupe dependent one. And because if she has an extra ability release board, her ults do a bit extra damage. But she is the first of her kind, where she is a damage alt and a support alt. So she can do 365 or double that with an EX alt, while still giving 50% weakness strike to Scourge Wielder allies. So she can do damage and help everyone else. So that's very interesting. Her first skill is a rewind that I'm just going to explain while we're using her. It's going to make a lot more sense in battle. Her second skill is guaranteed synergy and 110% synergy resistance down for 3 turns. 3 turns. Not just 1, but 3. Her Valor trait nerfs greens. That's not really that big of a deal. She has 2 different traits, depending on her dupes. The 1st and 3rd, and the 4th and 5th. So her 1st and 3rd trait is extra synergy power. It's kind of not important. If you have 4 or 5 dupes in her, you get extra skill points, which is the first these are the first characters to have that. So, let's just go ahead and jump in and we can start explaining her rewind skill, because that is the most confusing thing, and that's the thing that most people are going to have questions on. Also, before we move forward, remember that there is a free dupe of the masked hero in the WebStore. This requires you to, 1, be able to access the WebStore, and 2, you must already have pulled the masked hero in order to use this. But you can come into here, you could exchange for these 10 star stones. Alright, let's do that. And then we gotta maybe wait a little bit for it to kick over into our account. But you can get a free dupe of them by exchanging those starstones in the dedicated shop. So, okay, they're not there yet, but I'll show you the shop. It's right here under Magic Crystal, Memory Stone Bazaar, and you will take those 10 starstones and you will exchange it for a dupe. But this is only a dupe. It is not an initial copy of a character. You must pull the masked hero in order to use this. Otherwise, it's just going to sit in your box. And again, you must also be able to access the web store just straight up, because if you can't do that, you can't get the dupe. But there is a free dupe waiting for those lucky people. Alright, we're going to go in with the full Scourge Wielder meta: Elmisia, Kigali, Lumi, Masayuki, and the hero herself. We've brought Leon as well. So, the hero, because she has that 8th ability release board, does have just straight up more ult damage than what Masayuki has. Just straight up. And because she's going to act like a light character because of Masayuki's gimmick, she will actually out-damage Masayuki, which is great. But she also is going to give us extra weakness strike. So, turn 1, Kigali, we can convert with her, and then we'll bring the hero in for Kigali. She's going to get an ult immediately on turn 2. Let's bring Masayuki for Leon, I guess. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Okay, we did that wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So we have a hero ult. We could hold on to it, because she's a damage ult. But I also want the extra weakness strike that comes off of it. And it's only turn 2. We have many, many more turns to get an ult, and we're definitely going to do that here with multiple ults here. But the killer thing is we have access to the rewind. So, looking at the rewind, it's doing a literal fuck ton of things. So it's easiest to break it down in pieces. That's what most of this video is going to be about, is letting people know how this actually works. So, for this turn, enables the reactivation of certain battle effects that have already been activated, and allows you to make another move. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that things that you normally couldn't do with a normal rewind from the Space Hero or Divine General Hero, you can do with this one. So let's go ahead and use it. Let's use Elmisia and let's use Masayuki here as examples of skills. So, one other thing to note that you see is now the Alt Orb has the rainbow icon, which has been updated. It's now kind of like split into thirds. That is part of her rewind ability. down here sets Soul of Combos, or Alt Orbs, gauge increase to the same amount as Soul of Unities, which are rainbows, with all gauge altering effects applied. So if we look at the Alt Orb, we have the extra 100% gauge increase that we're getting from Lumi, plus the extra 30% alt gauge increase that we are also getting from the rewind effect right here. So the alt is acting like a rainbow. It's getting extra gauge buff from Lumi. It's also getting extra alt gauge buff from the Master Hero's rewind skill just in general. So we also have the rewind active up here. Let's go ahead and use Elmesia. Now typically, because we've used these skills right here, we've used the orange buff and the chaos gimmick, we wouldn't be able to do that. Let's also take Masayuki and Lumi out of here, and let's swap characters in. And traditionally, on a rewind, you would not be able to swap either of them back. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. 138 points, because we've got 3 rainbows. We had the alt, and then these 2 that we got from Elmesia. We've got double Elmesia this turn. And now you'll notice a couple of things. So the rewind has its own special animation, kind of a broken, rickety clock, and then it goes corrupted. And now, shockingly, we have a hero alt. That didn't used to happen. You didn't get another alt on the rewind turn if you sent one or stored one using an alt swap. This is new. The fact that you can actually double nuke on the rewind. But wait, because there are other things you can do with this. You'll notice that we could use the Lumi buff or the Masayuki buff again. Why is that? Because it's included. You get a 1-turn or a 1-use multi-skill for anything that you have already used on the initial turn 2. Also, you can swap these characters in again, and you can swap them out. We already did that once. Normally you would not be able to do this, but let's bring them both in, and you know what? Let's use the 2 skills that we already used and do them again. And actually, let's use the hero skill because it's synergy resistance, and it lasts for 3 turns. So turn 2, 3, and 4. It's going to be here. And then we can use Elmesia to convert everything. Boom. The alt orb is still acting like a rainbow, and since we have double Elmesia, we can get 5 rainbow orbs here now. Because we have the alt rainbow, and we have 4 other rainbows that we've gotten from Elmesia, which leaves just this normal hero orb here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, whatever. But max points, another double protection gauge, probably another EX alt for the hero, plus an EX alt for Lumi, plus an alt for Masayuki. So let's track this. We were able to use skills again. We were able to alt on the rewind turn. We were able to swap characters who we had already swapped in on the turn prior to the rewind kicking in. Plus, we're getting the 30% alt gauge increase for orbs. Plus, we're getting the orange buff, or whatever buff from orbs that you can be doing from other locations, whether it be skill points, or protection gauge, or all gauge increases, whatever. She is allowing you to do things that we traditionally have not been able to do with the rewind skill. This is the first of its kind, and it's allowing you so much freedom. But that freedom does come at a cost. Please take note of turn 2 up here. So we're going to send these alts. Alright, cool. We did decent. We did okay damage. And then we're going to do some hits here. The drawback to all of this extra gimmick power is that you will lose your next turn. So they're going to hit us. Boom. Alright, Guy's done. Jean is done. Blanc is done. And it's now turn 3. We can't do anything. Right? All these icons are kicking in. And they are attacking again. Guy, Jean, Blanc's gonna hit us, and now it is magically turn 4. So we lost turn 3 in its entirety, at the expense of having a rewind skill that pretty much makes it act like we didn't lose a turn. So there is trade-off. And skills that last for certain sets of turns will expire. They will continue their run on that dead turn 3. So the synergy resistance down normally lasts for 3 turns. Turn 2, turn 3, and turn 4. But we didn't get access to turn 3. We just skipped immediately to turn 4, and it's about to leave. So, you have to be a bit strategic on when you use the rewind, because you will lose that incoming turn at the expense of getting pretty much a turn for free and getting to use everything and swap characters out again. It is strategy. So, on paper, you're not really gaining an extra turn. You're kind of just doing things again. It doesn't make that. It's not a very good explanation. But previously, rewinds, you got turn 2, you got turn 2.5, you got turn 3, and turn 4. Now you get turn 2, you get turn 2.5, and you don't get turn 3. And you just skip immediately to turn 4. So it does require you to think about what you're doing in a more consistent, open-minded manner. You are getting a lot of power out of this. The alt gauge, the extra alt gauge here, the rainbow orbs, the reswapping of characters, that can open up a lot of avenues for buffing and then sending characters away, even if you've already used them. But it does come at that cost of losing a turn, like a full turn. But that's what the hero does. And because we've been alting multiple times, if we look at the hero, we've got 100% weakness strike. Because with her dupe level and everything, she gives Scourge Wielder 50% weakness strike every single time she ults. And we sent an alt on turn 2, and we sent an alt on the rewind turn. So that is 50 plus 50 equals 100. So we have a lot of power. And if you have dupes and rocks in the hero, you can get up to like 85% per nuke. So she can output damage. She can support the rest of the team. She has this very powerful rewind skill, and she has synergy resistance down and synergy rate for multiple turns. So even if you don't use the rewind skill, you're still going to get a butt ton of synergy resistance down for 3 turns, which you can take onto a lot of other teams that use synergy resist, or just synergy in general. So let's go ahead and do a little bit more buffing here. Let's apply the light buff. Let's apply the physical damage buff from Lumi, and then we can probably nuke our way out of here with all these alts. We don't have enough skill points to use the Leon buff, but the synergy resistance is about to leave, so I kind of want to make the most of that. So let's watch her alt again. Right? Again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to send the hero first because we're going to get that extra weakness strike for the other characters in the event that we don't kill here. Masayuki will do extra damage. He'll have 150% extra weakness strike. Lumi is single target, so she's not going to be super duper efficient here in this AoE stage. Heaven Fall Tear, or Tear, one of them. Oh, he didn't actually do a lot of damage there, unfortunate. Alright. But Masayuki, so he does 6 million damage. Lumi is single. I guess we can watch her because she's new too. But she's single target. We have the Chaos gimmick active right now from Lumi, so that's 50% extra damage from whatever we've accumulated with this team on this turn. Cursed Life Blessing. Does she kill Guy? No. He might die from the Chaos, though. Alright, let's see if we win this. Oh, he's dead. 22 million damage? 13 million damage, because they didn't get the single target hit. Okay, well, we got an example of the rewind skill. We got her alt, we got her synergy debuff. Let's now put her on a different team that isn't Scourge Wielder, but we can still use the rewind and the synergy. Alright, another big-time synergy team is the Frieren team. It's almost a year old now at this point, but it's still fairly solid. And we have synergy power from Fern. We have permanent synergy resistance down from Stark, and that will stack with the hero's 110 synergy resistance down. So we're going to go into the Octagram Emblem Guy event, because it's not super duper difficult, and we are using another orange team. But we can make use of a number of things here from the hero. We could use the rewind. Is it going to be truly efficient with this team? I think that the rewind skill is mostly going to be used only on a nuke turn, like a full nuke turn, That way you still benefit from all the skills while being able to convert and nuke twice. That seems to be the best use case for this Masked Heroes Rewind, but you can certainly still use it on other settings. You just need to be aware you're going to lose that next turn, and that could be a make or break kind of thing. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. We'll get an alt for Frieren. We're not bringing Blanc, obviously. We're bringing Stark instead, which, you know, you can do what you want here. But, I mean, that hand isn't super duper great either. So, let's get Frieren out of here for Fern. Boom. And then let's take Stark out for Raphael. And then let's steal some orbs, get some orange protection gauge, and then we'll use Himmel to convert that last one. And now we can have a nice full hand of buffed up oranges. And then turn 3, we can have quite a bit of extra power. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. And then you can make your choice. It's only turn 3. Do you want to nuke on turn 5? You could use the synergy resistance now, and you can get that synergy rate going. And that means that, you know, you don't need a different synergy character. Like, Frieren has synergy rate on her ult. We can't use that early because we're going to lose the ult damage if we go an extra turn. But we could. Like, you could. There are things you could do right here as well. So, let's go ahead and rewind and use the synergy buff or debuff with the Masked Hero. Boom. There's that. Cool. Synergy down. We've got the rewind turn kicking in. We can bring Frieren in for the Masked Hero now that we've used both of her skills. And then she now has the Rainbow Orb as well. So, what do we want to do here? Do we want to Magic State? Do we want to steal? Do we want to bring Stark in? Because I don't want to send the Frieren ult, even though we'll probably get it back. Let's take Raphael out of here. And then let's alt swap and then put some permanent synergy resistance down. So now we're taunting. Now Guy has 110 synergy resistance down, plus another 20% from Stark, because one is permanent, one is temporary. 110 and 20. Cool. Let's turn off the animations though, because we don't need to see that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excellent. Frieren has her EX ult now. That's good. But we've already swapped characters in, so normally on a rewind, we wouldn't be able to do that. And we are benefiting from that synergy and synergy down, because we have it active for the next couple of turns. So the rewind will kick in. Okay. Frieren and Fern are going to get both their ults now. Boom, look at that shit. And then we can alt swap those away again, because we have access to the multi-skill, the one-time use. So let's alt swap. Boom, let's make those oranges. And then we could take Frieren out for Raphael. Boom. And then we could steal those orbs. We could put more synergy resistance down. And now we have a perfect hand. And Frieren is chilling, big chilling in the back with her own buffs going. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But we are going to lose turn 4 because of the rewind. So we were able to do a number of things, and it's still only turn 3. So the ult from Raphael, alright, cool, synergy there. But we're going to lose turn 4. And we're going to go immediately into turn 5. But we have max points. We could probably nuke just fine here. So hit. He's still taunting, so he just cannot die anyways. But turn 4, okay, cool. And then he hits us, and now it's turn 5. He has Lord's Ambition, not a good time to nuke because he's immune. But let's use the final ability from Stark, I guess. Let's see. Let's do that. Boom. Even though it's not going to be active, we can just wait till turn 6 now. We could bring the hero in for Fern. We could use her personal buff as well. The synergy power and magic attack for herself. The hero comes in. We have access to Himmel, so we can convert this last remaining blue orb. Send it, And then on turn 6, we'll have all the debuffs. Hopefully, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I think the synergy will be gone from the hero, but we can just redo it because we have points for it. Yeah, and his health is depleting very quickly. Boom. Oh, with a crit too. All right. Debuff. That's a lot of Stark Orbs. All right. Took that damage like a champ. AoE. And now we can see that he has quite a bit of synergy resistance down from Stark at like 40%, 60%. I think 40. Oh, 60%. No. Okay, we're good. So, he's capped out. Let's use you again. Boom. More synergy resistance down. So now it's 170%. 110 here, 60 there. Did we benefit from the rewind? Yeah, it was kind of nice to use. Was it the most necessary thing in the world? Maybe not. But it's pretty powerful regardless. There are many things you can do now using rewind that we were not previously able to do. So let's do the alt damage, let's do this skill, and we don't need Raphael's skill because that's kind of useless. But it's turn 6, we could full nuke here, and we certainly are. And because we are essentially doubling our synergy damage now, or more than that, we're going to do a lot of damage, even without bringing Blanc. 2.3 type neutral. That's decent. So, the hero has a lot of moving parts to her, but you do have to remember it's not a traditional rewind skill. There are caveats to it. You are going to lose that next turn, which is why it's probably best to use it on a nuke. Specifically, probably for Jubilee, but if you're in a difficult fight and you are unsure of your ability to kill, even with full buff, then you can pop the rewind, and then on the rewind turn, you could just nuke again, right? If you can get rainbow orbs and you can get extra alt gauge on the orbs because she's buffing them, and even if you're using like a blue stacking team, you could probably nuke twice, and you could essentially send like 6 nukes in one turn, I think is the power creep way of wanting to do this. If there's a difficult fight that you cannot beat traditionally, like the Voracious Conquest, where is that? Let's do that. Never mind, this video is already like 20 minutes long. We'll cut it there. But overall, the hero, very powerful skills. If you want to nuke 6 times in a turn, which we didn't see here, but we will definitely do a different video with her and showcasing that kind of raw power, then have at it. If you want to use multiple skills in one turn, then you can, without having a true multi-skill character. Can she do damage? Yeah. Can she support her team, Scourge Wielder, with stacking Weakness Strike? Yeah. Is synergy resistance down and synergy rate super duper powerful, especially on a debuff team like Warrior's Mind, for example? Yeah, we'll probably see that in another video as well. So overall, I think the hero is a very good character. You just have to learn how to use her. And that's probably 3/4 of the battle for most people, learning how to use a character. She has a lot going for her. I think she's going to be a pretty good mainstay for a lot of different stages, but we'll have to wait and see what kind of stages those end up being. Jubilee Normals probably being the most important, but let me know what you guys think of this masked hero. Do you also agree that she's stupid, dumb, broken, or are you a bit underwhelmed, or just straight up still confused? Let me know in the comments below. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.